Hi there, and many thanks for tuning in. My motivation for making this video stems back to both observing and frequently hearing about a high amount of human rights abuses which goes on here in the DR, especially caused by the authorities towards their neighbors, the Haitians. To give you an analogy that sums up this country, well then imagine Dominican Republic is like this stunning multi-million-dollar super yacht with so many cool amenities and features to it. And all these amenities and features are all the good things I could rattle off about Dominican Republic, and there are many. Yet despite all of this, on this super yacht, the toilets are non-functionable. They're dirty and full to the brim. And worst of all, the captain and the crew refuses to do anything about it. And that kind of sums up what's happening here. The government and their troops don't seem to really care about resolving this issue because they're causing it in the first place, because it makes them money and it's turned into become a business which keeps expanding. In other words, the human rights abuses for the Haitians only go from bad to worse to horrible. When foreigners wish to enter this country to reside here, then it's fairly clear what they need to do to legalize themselves, and they follow that process, after which police and authorities normally respect their status and presence here. And folks can go about their lives without being approached or harassed by the police. Yet this is definitely not the case for Haitians. Firstly, it's usually very difficult for Haitians to legalize themselves, and especially lately with the political games and fights played at government level, the rules for Haitians to achieve a legal status seem very difficult and confusing, as the authorities seem to make new rules as fast as the wind can change direction. Secondly, all Haitians I talk to seem to confirm that the police and immigration officers don't seem to give a hoot if individuals show them legal documents. Instead, they very quickly start blackmailing people, pushing, "Do you want to avoid being deported? If so, you're going to pay us X amount of pesos or we'll boot your ass back to Haiti." Of course the amounts can change, but in other words it's a filthy business based on pure extortion. During this video we'll hear from 3 different groups of people addressing this specific topic. First of all, the Haitians, secondly Dominicans, and thirdly expats, in other words foreigners living here. As in the past, I know there'll probably be some proud Dominicans watching this video who don't want Haitians coming over here getting free hospitalization for childbirth, etc. And I actually agree, they should have to pay their way just like everyone else. Yet, that is a government mistake which shouldn't be blamed directly on the Haitians. Yet those Haitians who are let in, they should be allowed to live and work here in peace. Otherwise, the human rights violations will continue and it will damage the country's reputation, its tourism and its economy. And their reputation will continue to get worse as being nasty towards their neighbors whom they share this island with. Now let's dig in a little bit deeper. Don't take my word for it. Let's first of all hear from some Haitians to hear what they've got to say about their own situation here. Yeah, I'm here with Jab, who's been coming and going from Haiti to Dominican Republic for a number of years. Would you say Haitians here live in fear, Jab?
For the most part, I would say yes. We live in fear.
Why do they live in fear?
Because they have to be afraid of immigrations. They are afraid of even walking on the street. You know, they have those type of fears. Even when they go to work on constructions, they are afraid they get paid all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about the women and the children and schooling? Are they scared of walking to school?
Yes, they are scared of walking to school, and also they are scared of the economy because things are just too much expensive. They are afraid of finding, the means to get things done. So everything is getting really crazy.
You said about constructions. I know a lot of Haitians work in constructions. So, as I've seen, they often get chased or hunted like bank robbers when they just try to get home from their work to their little family. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, because someone know that they're gonna get paid, so they find a way to get the money from them. Either to rob them or either to chase them anyhow. So the little that they were supposed to get, they find a way to get that from them.
If the police catches a guy called Franco outside of construction on the way back from the construction, what's their typical approach when they catch up with the Haitians? What do they say to them?
They would say documentos, which means you gotta give your document, either your passport, either your permiso de trabajo, either your cedula, whatever you get. So they're gonna ask for that, and they know you don't have anything valid like that. They're not granting anything like that. So they did that on purpose.
So you were caught, weren't you, in Guagua, somewhere in the country, and they went, "Hey, Moreno," and they wanted you to, they sought you out amongst all the Dominicans and wanted you to come out of the Guagua.
Yeah.
Did you have your papers there?
Yeah, I had everything. I lived here for 8 years, so I had everything. Passport, visa, whatever they call it.
Did they take it off you, or you got to keep it?
They took everything from you. Completely everything.
And you were kicked back to Haiti?
Yeah, they brought you back to the border.
At what point did you get your documents back? Right on the border, or when did they give you back your documents?
No, after you get to the room that they put you, and then you get back, your bag left outside, so you get your bag back if you get the chance to find it back.
There's a lot of business happening on this one in terms of money. A lot of Haitians get released if they pay money. Yes. So how much money are they trying to extort you guys for?
The price is different. If you open for negotiations, two of my friends has been caught recently, and they paid 30,000, so 15,000 for each of them.
So what's the pitch the cops use? What do they say? Hey, give us 15,000 pesos, we'll let you free.
Yeah, they're gonna tell you that, well, we get people above us, so we cannot do that, but they're gonna call you, at the corner and say, hey, if you get this amount, you try to do something. And you get this amount, and then they release you.
So how much would you say of this whole thing about kicking Haitians out of the country, how much of it is about the legality of people being here, and how much is related to making money out of you guys?
It's a money-making machine. It's a big industry now. I got a friend that somebody come and call him at his house, and then he's missed. It's about 6 months. So many things going on in this place, So no one knows where he is. No one knows what happened to him.
He just disappeared.
He just disappeared.
And nobody's seen or heard from him?
No. His phone is not ringing. He's not on social media. Nothing. So he's completely disappeared. And there are a lot of things going on as well. Human trafficking, killings for organs and all of those things. So it's not just here, but as I live here, this is what I see. Maybe in other places too, it's happening.
And in terms of the women here, sometimes they got a return from, say, a grocery store with a few groceries, and they get nabbed and taken away, and they're yelling and screaming, I need to get back to my baby or my bambinos. So what's the story there as far as you're concerned? Is they don't care about that they have little children?
Well, no one cares about anybody. It's about, fight to make your money or to make a living, for the most part. So if people were caring about the suffering of others, things would be different. I'm not saying there are not good people in here. Yes, of course, there are good people, but it's not many. It's not really many.
Do you know anything about the legalization? Not that it sounds like it matters too much to the police anyway, whether you're legal or not, but somebody told me down in Santo Domingo there's queues of Haitians sitting outside the immigration, but they're not taking them inside to process them. What knowledge do you have about that?
Right now, few people that has applied for the card, the work permit. Some of them get selected, few of them, but for the most part, they're not really granting any, legal documents to say, hey, you've been living here, and then you get all the papers, and then we're gonna give you a set documents that you are legal in the country. It's not happening. for now.
Can people legalize themselves right now? So if you've stayed here for, say, 5 years and you want to re-legalize yourself?
You can try to do that, but number one, it's going to cost a lot of money, and it's going to take a long time to get it. So you can even discourage to say, it's not even worth it.
And even if you had legal documents, does it mean anything?
Not really, because it's not happening just because organization. It's happening to many people. As soon as you are black, you can be a target.
So when you were pulled out of that guagua, the minivan there, or taxi van, and they wanted your papers, you said you were completely legal.
Yeah.
What was their excuse for continuing to, I would like to call it, kidnap you? Because why are you being arrested if you're legal? So what was their excuse to keep on taking you to the jail you went to and then deport you from there to Haiti?
Sometimes they don't even hear you. It's like you get somebody and then you do something with somebody by force. That's basically what they do. If not, they would have looked at your student ID, your passport, who you are, right? Check it out, who you are and stuff like that. But there's none of that. It's usually come and grab you and then do whatever, take you.
So they don't care about even studying the documents. It's just about getting the documents off you and say, get in the paddy wagon, get in the truck,
exactly,
and treat you like animals.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's
and even
filthy
if you say,
business.
Let's say you don't have a document with you, say, hey, this is where I live, my document is inside. They're not gonna let you even go in and check the document.
So if they caught you straight outside your own home,
there we go.
They won't let you go in and present the documents.
They're not gonna let you go anywhere.
So would you say the situation in Dominican Republic for Haitians is getting better or worse?
It was worse a couple of months before. Now it's getting a little better because I heard news about legalization of paper and stuff like that. But if we look at it from a bigger scales, there is nothing significant that is happening to say, okay, we're gonna find a solution for this problem.
So I'm here with Peter, who's been kind enough to jump on camera. Thank you for that. Would you say Haitians feel safe, or are they shit scared to go to the shop, walk in the streets? What's the situation as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, I cannot say Haitian is safe to go to shopping, to go to work, and to go to school, because every time Haitian people going out, policeman and migration and another person, they don't want to see the Haitian, the migration, they have to take the Haitian if you're over and to take you to the police station or to send you back to Haiti.
95% of foreigners elsewhere, I know you guys are foreigners too, but you have to legalize yourself like we do. But I know what we call the gringos would leave in a heartbeat and take a lot of investments with them if they were messed with, harassed, chased like the Haitians are being chased. And you guys in theory should be treated a lot better because you're the neighbors. But you're not being treated a lot better, are you?
There's a difference between foreign people in the Dominican Republic. When you're Haitian, you come in the Dominican Republic, it's like you're nothing. But if you're a gringo, you're from another country, you're a very important person, and they give you more respect than Haitian people. Sometimes when the migration is walking out, they can find American people and other native. And the Dominican, they don't care about them. But if you're Haitian, you have trouble. You have to go back to Haiti. And sometimes, mistreated by policemen, mistreated by migration, all of those things happen with Haitian people.
Let's talk about the whole concept of legalizing yourself as a Haitian. Is it possible anymore? Because I'm hearing that it's really not.
Well, it's not easy for Haitian people to be legal in the Dominican Republic. Even you have passport, you have your ID, you have residence. If you're Haitian, you're not legal in the Dominican Republic. Long time ago, migration, Dominican embassy doesn't give visa to Haitian, long time ago. And now if you're Haitian, even where you have visa, you have residence, you cannot go out because you're illegal. If you're in the Dominican Republic, you're illegal. You cannot go in out because they can catch you and send you or to jail or send you back to your country.
So, example, yesterday, if you had been approached by a couple of police officers, what would the normal scenario look like? They would ask you what?
Hey, it must be asking me about my ID. If I have passport, if I have residence or any documents in the Dominican Republic. But I don't think they will ask you this kind of question. They only see you Haitian and you not to be here. You have to go back to your country. So sometimes I think the good thing is to ask me if I have passport, if I have documents, so that they identify me like a legal person, but they don't do it. So, sometimes the police is not working by themselves. They have some order by superior. And, they don't have to ask Haitian about document. So even the public transport, if the Haitian, even they have document, they cannot take to public transport. Because if you go out, if you Haitian, so something political or something racism, well, I don't know what it is exactly.
So if you said, well, hang on, you can't arrest me, I've got legal documents on me.
So sometimes they can arrest you, even you have document. And something happen when you get to the police station. So sometimes if you don't have money, you have to go back to your country. If you have money, sometimes they can negotiate with you. And some Haitians said they paid about 13,000 or 15,000 pesos to release by the policeman.
And where do they get released? Straight there in the jail, or do they drop them off in the countryside, or
Not
what's
in
the story?
jail. Before they send you go back to your country, they send you to the police station. And the police station, they not investigate. They just take you for a while, and after, if you can negotiate, you give money, and they release you. And if you can't, you go back to your country.
In terms of families here, you have kids that need to go to school, you have mothers that need to walk their children to school. Have you heard of any examples there where they're scared of walking along, or they've been actually taken? Do they take her and the children, or what happens there?
Listen, sometimes it's very hard when the mother or the father going out to do something, like to work and to do something. The police can catch them and send them to Haiti without the kids. And the kids stay in house, crying, without no one to help them. That happened last week with a mother with 4 children. The 4 children cry, and the mother is in the border Haiti. That was very terrible.
Yes,
and they don't,
nasty stuff.
Yeah.
So when the mother said, "No, I've got a baby at the house,"
they don't care about it. They don't care. Even the baby, sometimes they catch children about 8 years old, 9 years old, and send them in the same guagua or in the same bus.
Police truck.
Yeah, police truck.
Wow. Outside construction sites, I've seen police sitting around, like it's usually 2 police on a motorbike. Is there a whole thing like spreading like cancer where between the cops they think it's now a good idea to chase Haitians from the work site as they're trying to go to their home with the money they've made and extort them for money or kidnap them?
It's something I can't explain. Sometimes when the Haitian, the construction workers, when they work, for example, the responsible of the construction, sometimes doesn't want to pay them the money. They just call the police.
They cut a deal with the police.
Migration. And sometimes the construction worker have to have some friend with the police and call some police to catch the money. Sometimes they give some money to the police and to help them find this money, because there's too much thing I can't explain because
I see up in the hills here, I get around here, there and everywhere, and I see a lot of Haitians taking, I'd like to call it mule routes, literally through the fincas, through the paddocks, walking. Instead of going on roads and highways, they're coming through the fields. And that's all the way from a construction site, say in La Mulata, to maybe these guys live in Cabaretta. or on the way to Cabaretta. So they're crossing all these paddocks or fincas in order to get home instead of going on the actual roads. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I know, because sometimes when they go in the main street, they can catch by the police.
I mean, it's really a sick thought. Here, a bunch of strong Haitian men are helping build buildings in Dominican Republic for either the Dominicans or for the investors of the Dominicans, and then they get hunted like bank robbers with the few pesos that they make.
Yes.
It's terrible.
It's exploitation.
Yeah. Is this commands from above, or is it just the cops being cheeky?
Sometimes instruction from superiors, and sometimes not. Sometimes the cops know when they're going to pay them and just go ahead at the place.
Okay. Anyway, thank you so much, Peter, for your great comments, and stay safe and all the very best over here.
Thank you so much, sir.
One final question. Will you be staying here, or do you plan to go back and build a life in Haiti?
I don't know if it's the same for all Haitian people living in the Dominican Republic, but me, I'm just here because of the trouble is happening now in Haiti, because of the gangs. After, if we a little bit safe in Haiti, in a few months, I will go back my country, because I want to be safe, and Haiti is my country, and it's the same for much and for more and more people like Haitian living in the Dominican Republic. They would like to go back their country, but because of the security problem, they cannot. And I wish things change quickly there, that I'm go back my country.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Take care.
You're welcome.
Cheers. From a Dominican's viewpoint, Haitians, can they actually be legal here in this country?
They can be legal, but as of right now, what I heard, they making it very difficult for them to get a visa. One guy said 3 years he couldn't get the visa.
So how do people get in and out? Just with money?
Just for money. Very obvious. Everybody knows that. It's a cycle. They get in with money.
You pay money to get the permission to come in, and then they hunt them.
On top of that, they hump them. They get them back so they can continue the process again. It's all about the money. Got money from them. Let them leave. Let them be.
Yeah.
Because they come to work. Mainly, they working hard. They doing the hard jobs.
Yeah, well, 95% of people in construction sites are Haitians.
Exactly. They even doing work that Dominicans don't want to do no more. Some Dominicans got lazy. But besides that, they want to make more money on top of that. And it's not fair. It's not fair for people that's working and is trying to make a living, and then they come and get humped them.
Well, it also puts a lot of tourists off watching this, and especially I find a lot of my African American friends, they get extremely irate when they see it, because the African heritage and Haitians have the same heritage and so forth. I get angry myself just because it's a human being that's not being treated respectfully. But well, I think there's so many positive things to Dominican Republic, and then you have this one big sore thumb sticking out that's like a stick in the eye to everything. People here are friendly. People are more relaxed, respectful. There's no road rage, and then suddenly you have to see
these kind of things.
Some police officers come shooting out on a motorbike and attacking some guy that's just on his way back from the grocery store.
Doesn't go with the other things, The government and the people that take care of these things got to find another way.
Obviously, it comes from right up the food chain, and that money ripples right up, obviously, since it continues.
If they don't have the order from the top, they won't do it. They get in trouble.
So when it comes to the fear people live in, would you say Haitians, quite a number of Haitians, do they live in fear of walking to the shop?
Oh, definitely they do.
Going back from work, etc.?
I can tell you, since sometime in the past they were more, they were more loose, they were more comfortable going around. Now, after a couple of years, it's been getting harder and harder for them.
Well, a lot of them want to get out. So maybe in 2 years' time, there'll be a very big struggle to find workforce, because most Haitians want to leave the country and go back to their country if it gets better there.
That can happen if we continue this hunting. That's what we're gonna have a big problem in the country, because yes, we need them to work, and they need money. They come here because it's a better life, of course.
Yeah.
Like everybody else going to other countries, like Dominicans going to New York, Dominicans going to Spain.
Well, I think it's like friendship. If you don't feel welcome somewhere, then sooner or later people are going to leave, aren't they?
Definitely, and they not, if they're not comfortable, they're not going to work in the right way neither. You know, I mean.
And I think it's actually in Dominicans' best interest. Like you said, there's many jobs that Haitians are willing to do, just like Mexicans have done in America,
Exactly.
the Polish people in Scandinavia, and so on, all the way around the world.
Exactly.
There's always somebody who's willing to travel in from somewhere else and work for less
them.
money,
No
and then it's a
doubt.
win-win.
Exactly.
You know, they would rather pay the money than have to get out there with the pickaxe.
Exactly.
A lady I know who lives in Maranata,
Yes.
she said to me, when the cops come hunting for the Haitians in Maranata, the Dominican friends warn them, hide.
Yes.
And they hide in all the little alleys and corners and behind doors.
They
etc.
have to go to the woods.
So obviously
Most of them.
they get on fine with each other. I've seen it in La Cienega. They look after each other's children.
Definitely. We're surviving together.
So in other words, it's the authorities that are the shit stirrers in the whole equation.
Exactly, the authorities, because nobody else is haunting them. I mean, they live in the neighborhood they live. Everybody survived with them. I mean, and they made friendship. Exactly, they kids play with Dominicans, family kids.
Yeah.
They go to school.
I've never actually seen a Haitian and a Dominican in a fist fight either. If a fight broke out, it's always been a Dominican against the Dominican. I've never actually seen, and that's
because
beautiful.
They don't want to cause problems here, because they don't want to cause problems, because they know it's not a good thing for them.
Yeah.
You know, they want to protect themselves from problems. And exactly, they come out from work, they got to be hiding, or they got to be careful in the street, because the police is going to hunt them
Yeah.
for money. And then the problem is that they know that if they get caught, they're going to be transported to someplace else, or not even to Haiti. They don't even make it to Haiti. Before they make it to Haiti, they got to pay. They can pay to stay. So they charge a lot of money. It's nothing cheap.
So what kind of money have you heard about?
Well, I heard lately I heard that they're charging about 10,000, 14,000, 15,000 pesos to let them stay.
Yeah.
So every time they get caught paying this money, come on. I mean,
They keep them poor
crazy.
then.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So they're pushing it.
Anyway, Chris, thank you so much for jumping
You're
on
welcome.
camera, and all the very best.
No problem.
Take care.
You too.
So everyone, I'm with Mario. And where are you from originally, Mario?
Quebec, French Canadian.
French Canadian.
Montreal.
So you got a Haitian girlfriend,
I do. I'm with her since about 2 years.
and she got deported.
Deported for the third time, but it happens more than 3 times. The three first time, when they got caught by the police, if they have money in their pocket, okay, they takes 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, okay, and the police take the fucking money, put it in their pocket, and let the people that the girls away, or girl or guy. That's the way they act. If you don't have money, what they do, they take, like the last 3 times, she had no fucking money on her, and she brought, they take the girl, any girl, my novia, my wife, bring her over Puerto Plata, over the jail. They wait until they got something like 100 people, then they put it in what I call a rat cage. It's trucks with a cage, and they bring all the people down the border, at the border of Dabon, so, and they let them away. Even if they're sick, I mean, or without money, they don't give a shit.
How many children does she have?
She has 2.
2.
Yeah. She has
So there's
2
one,
kids.
which you now are looking after here.
Hey?
Yeah. So even though she's a mother, she's got children here, they kick her over anyway.
And even if
Disgusting. Yeah.
even if she got out of the, when she got caught, okay, they stop the guagua. They stop the bus. They take all the people out of the bus. They kept only the Haitian people. They take the Haitian people. You have the one who doesn't have money. What happened? They take it and they bring them at the jail, over the jail. See? So that's that's the last time it happened. Once she got cut, she were kind of really bad, really sick. She was spitting blood. Okay, so she went on a moto cucho at the hospital or in Soswa, and the police stopped the moto cucho because there's a Haitian in the back of the moto, and they cut her and they bring her over the jail in Puerto Plata, and she was fucking sick. That's the way they do that.
So right now, have you got communication with her?
For now, it's pretty hard because the communication, the Wi-Fi, and where she lives, and the Cap Haitian, she's on top, she's in the month. There's no electricity, no agua, and no baños neither.
No toilets.
No, of course, tourists.
So you have 2 children you're looking after now on behalf of her.
Yeah, I got 2 children.
Yeah.
That's my other children.
So that's quite a responsibility that's just landed in your lap. Yeah. So you were talking about going over to try to find her.
I got to find a way to have her back over here. Because first, her daughter missed her, I mean. And I missed her too.
Yeah.
See?
So in terms of her telling the police that, hang on, I've got small child I need to get back to that's waiting for me.
Seems like they doesn't give a shit.
They don't give a shit.
They don't. That's the last time it happened. She ran out when she got cut. You say in English? She got cut because she was coming out of the hospital for a checkup, and they still got her, kept her. Even if she say, I got 2 kids and Soswa in my apartment alone, 13 years old, 1 year and a half, and they don't fucking give a shit.
It's some dangerous stuff for the kids. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous for the kid. Think about it.
Yeah.
She's 13 years old, 13 and a half, and she been over 3 months, 3 weeks along with the Chichi.
Yeah.
So feed him, and stuff.
So that's a lot of responsibility for her.
For a kid after 13 years old.
Yeah. Anyway, Mario, thank you very much, and we'll just have another little goodbye. You wave to the camera.
Okay.
Good stuff. All right. Well, I really hope you get her mother back, and let's see if we can send some ripple waves with this video to wake the world up to all the corruption that's going on in this area. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Cheers. All right, folks. 3 weeks later, he got her back. Welcome back. Yeah. All right. And little Chichi. Good stuff, guys.
Party is over for me now.
Good stuff. So in your opinion, do Haitians live in fear? Do they fear walking in the streets, going to the shops, and living a normal life like everybody else here?
Yes, I would say the ones who are illegally here, or want to call it undocumented, but if they are legal, I don't think they should be worried, even though some of the police, they don't take that into account. They say, whoops, they made a mistake, so what? No consequences. The schools and the hospitals, they're completely to the service of the Haitian people. Most births that take place in public hospital, I would say about 80% of the births, at least, are all Haitian women that come over the border that have the babies here. I mean, so if the government is that friendly, I don't see why the authorities in charge of keeping law and order are that abusive. That shouldn't be. It's a contradiction.
Yeah. I come as a foreigner, which I've done to several countries. I have to carry my own weight. I can't bring a wife in to give birth on the bill of that country. So why should they? And I understand Dominicans' argument when they say, well, they shouldn't come here and give birth. And I agree with that. But in terms of if you're legal, you should be able to safely show your papers, just like Dominicans do in Puerto Rico, and once they've shown their papers, the cops leave them alone. And that should be the same case right here. But if the fish stinks, it stinks from the head. So somebody up the food chain and the police is not giving the correct instructions and consequences to their officers, because they're abusing that whole thing. And whether it's with the permission of the government or not, well, who knows? But the reality is they get abused a lot.
I know a person who's a Haitian, and I know him for about 3 years. We became kind of friends, like street friends. We always meet on the street, say hello, and he tells me his problems, and and sometimes I help him out. I give him 100 pesos or something, whatever. He regulated his stay in the country a few years ago, so he got his paperwork. But right now, it is very difficult to renew it, So he has the old paperwork, and he's been picked up by the police and sent over to immigration about 3 times. Take him in, and send him back to Haiti. He finds his way back, by paying a certain quota at the border, and he's back in Sosua. He likes it here. And now the 3rd time it happened this year, he said, well, I'm getting sick and tired of doing the same thing. I'm here, and I'm not well off here in my country, but what can we do? I think it's pathetic that they should do that, because the government says one thing, and the orders are one thing, but the execution and the way they carry it out is all a business. Like every time he crosses again, he's got to pay a quota. This is unofficial quota. It's like a bribe. Let me through, and he goes through. And I think it's a very.
It's a business.
It's a business, and I know this person personally, but I know it's happening to hundreds or maybe thousands of people. And it shouldn't be, and it shouldn't be. And the government is very friendly towards the intentions of the UN and the NGOs to help Haitians in this country. Why don't the NGOs help the Haitians in their country? I would think that if they want to make shelters for Haitians, they shouldn't make them in the Dominican Republic. They should make them in Haiti. That's my opinion.
Has there been situations where Haitians have reached out for help when they get nabbed by the cops?
Yeah, I have had phone calls in the middle of the night, early morning, afternoon. You never know when it is, but normally in the evening, because that's usually when it seems like most of the people are getting nabbed and taken in. But it's 24 hours a day. And I have had calls from some friends of mine, Haitians, people that I know that are good people. I usually help them out anyway if they're really hungry or something. I always try to give them a little something. But anyway, so they know they'll reach out to me. They don't necessarily mean I can do anything, that I can do much for them, but they'll reach out to me. And what happens is they get grabbed on the street by the local national police, and they take them to the station. And from what they tell me, the people that have been taken up there, they either have to pay some money to get out of the situation, otherwise they're going to go onto the immigration deportation truck vehicle and then taken away for processing. That could be, I don't know, maybe in Puerto Plata to Santiago and then up to Dabon.
So basically they're being extorted. Either pay some money or we deport you.
I guess you could look at it that way. It's yeah, that's their choices.
So when you turned up and paid some money, they released them?
Oh, I've never done that. I've never done that because I don't have that kind of money to help them out. I would love to help them out, but I can't do that. Once they get deported, they get in that wagon and they go to Dabon. They're put across the border to Guadalupe. They have nothing. They have no money. Most of them, if they have a family, that family could be anywhere in the country. They can't get to the family, so they're there, they're flat broke, and they don't know what to do. They're completely helpless. And to get back into the country, that's almost impossible for them. You know, you can't get any legal paperwork to come back in the country. So they're stuck with absolutely nothing. So you can understand my point is, you can understand the fear they have about getting deported.
Mm-hmm.
It's once they get across that border back into Haiti, they're not coming back in unless they, I suppose, pay large sums of money to get back. But then they could get back, and the next day or 2 days later, they get picked up and they go right back to Haiti through the same thing. So once they get deported, and this is a better life for them right now. Things are tough in Haiti, really bad in Haiti. So this is definitely a better life for them. So you can understand the situation. If they get deported, it's almost like the end of the world to them.
So Barry, have you seen any situations where Haitians were just innocently walking along trying to get home from work or get to a shop where they actually got approached by police?
Yes, I have. If you're standing out in the street and look across the street, you see a Haitian being stopped by the police and taken away, yes. And I have seen it personally, and I've heard about it several times from family members of the Haitian who was just arrested on the street, pulled off of a motor concho, be on the back of a motor concho, and some police come over and tell them to get off, and they arrest them. Yes.
So what would you say is the overall motivation of the government or the cops to target the Haitians?
Well, it's a combination of things. A political desire to reduce the Haitian presence in the country, and then there's the financial angle, which always exists.
So would you say it's a business?
It's a business, yeah. It's always a very dominant factor is the financial side of it, right. And where that money goes and what amount, I can't really comment on.
And that could vary
much about it, but when I first heard about this 15,000 figure, someone told me about that. I said, that's as much as the visa would cost for 3 months.
Most Haitians don't make very much anyway, so it's a real struggle for them to even save up 15,000 pesos, let alone suddenly be extorted for it.
Yeah, right.
Okay, have you heard or seen situations where they're being chased near their workplaces? Because like if you go to any construction site, 95% or more of the percentage of people working on that construction site are Haitian labor. So have you heard about them being hunted near the construction sites and traveling home from work?
No, in fact, I've heard quite the opposite. That Haitians, on the construction sites are generally not targeted because they're performing labor. I think when they're walking in the street, yes, I know they're targeted individually. Yes.
So, apart from the explanations heard so far, actually some of the most horrifying stories came from people who didn't dare to jump on camera. However, just so you, the viewer, get the full picture of situations happening over here, then here's a few more examples of the abuse being done to the Haitians in DR. Police have grown their cockiness to the point where they are walking into restaurants with multiple police officers and arresting Haitian waitresses or waiters straight out of their workplace, and often the bosses don't dare to stand up against them. Secondly, if any Haitian vendor resists having their products seized, then cops are known to switch to violence straight away, as seen in this clip. One gringo explained that his worker who got extorted has had his private home invaded by the same two cops, who then further extorted him, as now they know where he lives. And then some Haitians have been jailed for up to 6 days with no food, shower, and hardly any drinking water. Also, many ladies who can't pay the extortion fees are offered by the cops that if they perform sexual favors instead, they'll be released. I learned about one case where the cops were retaining a child and wouldn't release him till they got paid. And some Haitians have gone completely missing, like what we saw earlier in the video, with neither friends or family ever hearing from them again. It's got to make you wonder what happened to them and where they disappeared to. There's an old saying, treat others how you would like to be treated yourself. So whatever way you may look at this video, one thing should be clear already, which is the fact that human rights violations are happening here in Dominican Republic daily against the Haitians. And the main motivators seem to be money, made possible by cops and immigration officers who can obviously justify abusing their uniform and powers to gain money and to humiliate their Haitian neighbors being over here. And this hypocritical crap has to be stopped. For any person watching this who might want to compare the Haitians' presence here to example over in the US, then the big difference here is that they have to pay to get in. And while being here, there's no free lunches for 99% of Haitians. And then they get extorted if they're caught. So there's no freebies like hotels, cell phones, bus rides, monthly benefits, or 0% home loans to become a voter for supporting the globalist cabal, or any nonsense like that. Now here it's tough for them, and no red rug is ever rolled out in front of their feet, that's for sure. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for this time, so kindly send this video out to as many friends and family members as possible, as nothing tackles corruption like exposure, and we must deal these human rights abuses. Many thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Bye bye.